Hey everyone, welcome back to the Maverick channel. Now, a good way to support the channel is by hitting that subscribe button and hitting that like button. That's a good way to help the YouTube algorithms figure out how to dissipate this content out there. So, now when you look at this chart, there's a ton of cryptocurrencies, and this is just showing mostly what is out there. It's not displaying on CoinMarketCap. We're seeing 10,520 cryptocurrencies, but we know there's way more cryptocurrencies than this. Now, there's ecosystems like EOS. If you go and look at EOS, there's a ton of digital currencies that are under EOS that are not even listed here. When you go to Polkadot, you see plenty of cryptocurrencies that are trying to form on the Polkadot substrate, but may not be listed here. You go under Cosmos, there's a ton of cryptocurrencies under Cosmos that are not listed here. And I'm sure, as equally speaking, there must be other ecosystems out there that are trying to form their own layer 1 technology onto which other cryptocurrencies are being built that aren't listed here. So there's a ton of cryptocurrencies out there. So you ask yourself, what to do then? What is the trend? Well, one thing I've discovered is that sticking with the market is one good strategy, and sticking with what you know. Of course, people look at things like Bitcoin and they're like, Bitcoin is quite expensive, so I'm looking out for the next gem which is at a lower price so that I could buy that to maximize my chance of making a ton of money in the next run, or in case there's a bull run. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you feel like you understand Bitcoin, and if you feel like you want to hedge a certain amount of wealth within Bitcoin, then certainly you want to distribute some of your wealth between Bitcoin. A lot of people say Ethereum as a second cryptocurrency to do that, but you have to think that you have to be a contrarian. Now, that may contradict with what I've just said with Bitcoin, but with Bitcoin, choosing not to invest in Bitcoin does not necessarily make you a contrarian, because Bitcoin as itself has that first mover advantage. It has all the attention there, and it's the one with a really high price. So I mean, you gotta have the money to ball with Bitcoin, and you have to understand whether you want to use it as a hedge of your money, as a way to protect your wealth. So it could be as a strategy saying that I'm going to be allocating a certain amount of my savings into Bitcoin if I'm looking at it as a long-term type of saving within the cryptocurrency space, because maybe there's not too many other asset classes I can get into, especially things like real estate. If you want to go into stocks and bonds, with all the devaluation of currencies that's out there and all the uncertainty around the political structure, it may be a bit hard to even our limited knowledge with the geopolitical, occurrences that are going on. It may be hard to find a traditional area in which you want to put your money into. So Bitcoin could be that hedge. For Ethereum, I'm really waiting for them to upgrade to proof of stake in order to prove themselves that they're worthy. But there's a lot of force behind Ethereum. But personally, I like digital currencies that are practical. Bitcoin, I guess, has established itself as a store of value, or at least it's doing that. And Ethereum is amazing with what can be done with it. Decentralized finance, non-fungible tokens, and many financial systems, stable coins, and so many things, ecosystems that have been built around Ethereum. But it's hard to convince me that the whole globe will run on a technology that can easily break. I mean, people are really smart. Humans are smart. I know we do a lot of dumb things, but humans are smart. And eventually, cryptocurrency will have to converge to a technology that can get things done, a technology that is trusted in the sense that it's not going to break. And that's one of the reasons why Bitcoin especially is establishing itself as a store of value. So if you look at the top 10, you're like, Bitcoin, okay, store of value. Ethereum has a major use case, but the scalability is a really big problem. There's not that many people within the cryptocurrency space. So if you have a powerhouse like Ethereum being interacted with by just a couple of thousands of people and it's already breaking, that becomes a problem. Then, okay, let's go down the list. Tether, store of value. And the Binance coin is already establishing itself as that replica of Ethereum, and it also has that support of actual people behind it and an actual company behind it. Cardano still kind of flying on fumes, but there's a lot of people that are hopeful that it will achieve something. Dogecoin, you know what? I'm not going to evaluate all these cryptocurrencies because everyone out there has reasons as to why they want to engage in the various cryptocurrencies. But in my own personal opinion, Dogecoin is still flying on fumes of speculation. XRP, it has that lawsuit with the Ripple company, which is supposed to be separate from XRP, but we all have to agree it's something that is really limiting the adoption of the XRP ledger and the XRP ecosystem. USDC coin, another stablecoin that's serving that purpose as a stablecoin. Polkadot, I don't have too much of a point with that about that because there's still that shared security. If you build platforms on top of the Polkadot substrate, then there is that shared security. So if something happens to Polkadot, then the whole thing breaks down. But someone out there, I'm pretty sure, knows way more than I do about Polkadot, and I'm sure they could have a very, very good rebuttal of what I just said. So I'm not qualified to really evaluate some of these digital currencies. The point being, in case you're choosing to invest in these things, you have to truly, truly do your own research and dig deep into where you're putting your money and try to understand why you're invested in what you're investing in. Now, the last point I want to make about this is that there was this thing about this plant called vanilla. I'm sure, you've all had like vanilla ice cream. So it's that flavoring plant. That's where the flavor comes from. It's called the vanilla seed, something of the sort. So there was this situation where there was a very limited supply of vanilla, where I'm from. So a lot of people went in there because it was a phase. And then when the prices started going down due to the increased supply, a lot of people jumped out, I guess, because they were realizing that they were not benefiting from that. But who benefited? It's not just the people that got in first, but it's the people that chose to stay. So those people that chose to stay perfected their knowledge in that space, they expanded how much they were growing. And when everyone bounced out because they felt like they weren't benefiting from the system, these people that chose to stay are the people that truly benefited because they're the ones with the knowledge, they're the ones with the equipment, they're the ones that use their resources to expand. So just use that and try to apply that same analogy to cryptocurrencies. So let's go into what I want to cover in this video today. And the first one is Google searches for El Salvador real estate went to the moon after the nation adopted Bitcoin last week. That's why I said people are smart. Humans are smart. They know this kind of news is bringing certain attention economically to El Salvador. So why not look for real estate there? There could be an opportunity there in case something truly happens with the cryptocurrency scene in this country. You could find that the value created by the adoption of Bitcoin would lead to an increase in the value of real estate. So people still seek for different ways of grabbing opportunities where they can find them. So this is something you might think about. This is something you might want to think about in the way you approach your investment in cryptocurrencies, because we all have to accept we're trying to understand the space to see where it's going. So having a diverse level of knowledge within the space in all aspects can truly, truly help you have that advantage over other people. Then let's jump into Fetch. There was this tweet by Maria Minorikova, really looking forward, working with the research community using the cutting edge tech we are developing. Improving useful biomed algorithms while maintaining strict data privacy protection is the key to AI development. So I did a video about this partnership of Fetch.AI and PSNC. PSNC is a very impressive company if you look into it and what they're doing with modern technology, modern ways of manufacturing using virtual reality. They must also be engaged into things like 3D printing and I guess maybe additive manufacturing, but their focus seems to be on data and using virtual resources to help innovators, to help engineers, and to help different companies get to their final level of production really fast. So this partnership of Fetch.AI with this company, Fetch.AI has Bosch Global, it has Festo, it has PSNC, it has other venture capitalists that it has partnered itself with. It's partnered with Katina X, Gaia X. So there's a whole system building around Fetch.AI, and there's big things to look forward to. And that ties back into my point. Try and understand a product that you want to invest in this cryptocurrency space, understand their value proposition and what they're trying to achieve, and be kind of safe, at least have your odds very well known when you're choosing to invest your hard-earned money into something, because we're all trying to understand how this space is going to evolve. So let's look at this next tweet by Odd Gems. Odd Gems is a very huge influencer with a following of 72,000 people. and their opinion about this partnership. This partnership will allow PSNC to use and contribute data to train algorithms that can be used by hospitals and research centers worldwide to identify and detect circulating cancer cells in patients' blood or tissue biopsies. So such a partnership is not only important for people that are investing in the Fetch ecosystem, but it's also very important for the actual use case. Imagine that, accelerating research in the cancer field. It's very important for the livelihood of humanity, and people have to jump onto this because this creates an array of hope. It's not just like any other investment, but this is actual hope to eliminate such a disease that has plagued the human race, a very mysterious disease that continues to linger around. So if there is any actual hope of accelerating the alleviation of this, I think this is something you're bullish on, not just as an investment, but as something that can actually save your life. So I think this is very amazing. And there's this tweet by Peter Bosch, quite interested, especially in collective learning in combination with the AAAs in our mobility use case of the Gaia X project Move ID. Together with our other strong DLT partners will boost the decentralization in Europe. Then hashtag Datarella, the people developing the micromobility framework, and others here, as you can see. So this was in response to the Fetch.AI roadmap, of which I did a video yesterday about it, in case you want to know more about that. Then if you do not know who Peter Bosch is, Peter Bosch, there is a page here about him, product owner, distributed ledger technologies, mobility robot Bosch. So for the Bosch company, Peter works for the Bosch mobility think tank, reporting to the board of management at the Bosch group. He and his team are working on the future connectivity strategies for the mobility business units of the Bosch group and as consultants for the executive board. He has 25 years of experience in international project management, and more information about him, and there's also a LinkedIn page about him. Let's go Europe. We've got all the good things in front of us, really. So I think here they actually talk about the Move ID, the one you saw, hashtag Move ID. They try to explain, I think they want to create this framework. I've also covered this. They want to create a framework where the Europeans have this identity. So you have your identity number, which I guess is decentralized. So if you want to log into Google, Facebook, and other platforms, you just present the ID. You don't actually need to give information of who you are, where you're from, you don't have to give your life information. So I guess they're pushing for that kind of thing. So you can see also here is hashtag self-sovereign identity, Move ID. So they want to, fully engaged in that whole idea of data sovereignty and data rights, data protection, and increase the level of control that users have of their data. I think one main point that we need to really remember with Fetch.AI is that they're engaged in data. And we know, unless the whole human race is wrong, we know that data is the future because there is value in data. It's already being harnessed right now before a lot of people can even understand it. But that's where the future is going. The more information you have about something, the better decisions you can make as a company, as an individual. And, it's just better to have more information about stuff. So data is inevitably going to be something that's very influential. It already is something that's very influential to know how to harness it and to know how to get a hold of it. And lastly, we want to cover this tweet by Moonshot Josh. Moonshot Josh always being extremely bullish. Fetch.AI, I'll say it once and I'll say it again. This token will be in the top 10 by end of year. So guys, I think that speaks for itself. So that's all I wanted to cover today. I hope you learned something from this video today. I certainly did. And I hope to catch you on the next one. Take care, guys. Have a good one.